Yo, what's up? My name is Devontae, and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. This nigga Tony Khan here, bro. I swear to God. I look at everything Tony Khan does, and I say to myself one thing, bro. Like one phrase. You had one job. One fucking job. And that's to run a professional wrestling business. You know, I was listening to, I think it was Solomonster not too long ago, and he says some stupid shit, bro. Because like I said, I can disagree with a lot of things everybody says, but at the very least, if you come at it from a logical perspective, at the very least, I can at least see it from your perspective. I disagree with it because I feel there's a better way to get to that. I think there's a better route, but it's not to say that what you're saying is incorrect. It's just... I feel like this is a more logical way, but this was just fucking retarded, bro. And people say this shit all the time, and it's like, I don't understand where you're coming from when you say stupid shit like this all the time. When people say things like, oh, it's professional wrestling, so bad, oh, so scary. They try to be super duper like sarcastic, and they'll be like, oh, so scary that we want to see wrestling in our professional wrestling. Nah, dumbass nigga, it ain't even like that. You go through a professional wrestling. Did you get into professional wrestling because of what you seen in the ring? I guarantee you half you motherfuckers in the ring did not get, fuck that. More than that, fuck that. 3/4, maybe even 90%, 95% of y'all motherfuckers did not get into professional wrestling based off of, well, look at what the movie, look at that choreographed movie's doing. Oh my God, the 450 splash through the table. No, I'm very, very willing to look at certain people, like for an example, you see Rey Mysterio for the first time. You know, I'm willing to grant I'm willing to concede a little tiny bit, all right, to people who, for an example, came into professional wrestling via Rey Mysterio, maybe via Jeff Hardy, maybe via a Rob Van Dam, guys who do high spots all the time, and that got you invested. I'm willing to concede to that. But for the majority of you motherfuckers, you came in because of the characters. You came in because you seen larger-than-life guys in the ring, and you're saying to yourself, holy fuck, they look cool as shit. That's why you got into professional wrestling overall, and what keeps you into professional wrestling, what keeps you wanting to come back for more of the wrestling, is the stories that they tell in the ring and the character development that happens throughout the next couple of months, years, weeks, or whatever duration you want to use. That's what keeps you hooked. It's like, again, a book, a movie, a song, anything would tell you, anybody would tell you. Like, imagine listening to a song. This is the equivalent of saying you listen to a song and you say to yourself, damn, I can't wait for that to come out because I want to hear the lyrics. Never mind the theme of the lyrics, never mind the beat, never mind the production, like, just simply, not even the wordplay. Fuck the wordplay, like, none of that. You simply just want to hear the lyrics. And does he rhyme? Like, the wordplay would at least be something like, oh, well, okay, what's the metaphoric comparison? Like a Lil Wayne, for an example. What's the metaphoric comparisons that he's going to put together and make me go, oh, shit, that was clever as fuck. No. You legitimately come for the poetry, quote unquote poetry. Nah, like I said about professional wrestling, if I want to see strictly in-ring wrestling, if I strictly want to see things like that, then fuck it. I'll go watch an NCAA tournament if that's what I give a fuck about. I'll go watch a compilation video on YouTube or something like that. Nah, I didn't come for specifically to see what the hell they're going to do in the ring. I came to see what is the conclusion of the story based on the things they're going to do in the ring. How are they going to tell the story via that? Imagine getting into music and, well, let me just write some poetry. Fuck it, I'll go actually read legitimate poets who are 10 times better than you and they ain't even on beat. Same thing for movies and shit like that. Michael Bay films, nigga, I don't want to see just explosions. I want to see the reason for the explosions. But nah, leave it up to people like a Solomon or people who have this warped ass logic, who thinks to themselves, God forbid we want to come to professional wrestling and see just specifically man, get the fuck out of here with that nonsense, man. That's clown behavior. That's clown logic. Because there's no way you would just sit back and watch professional wrestling if it was strictly just the shit that was happening in the ring. And that brings us to the homie Tony Khan, because he's not getting that. He thinks he has a warped ass logic, just like the same Marks who uses that type of logic about the in-ring guy should be and everything. Nah, he has a warped ass logic also. That's why ROH is in the shape that it's in. As a matter of fact, you know what? There was actually something that was talked about earlier in regards to ROH and the wrestlers in the company being unhappy. Let me read that for you real quick. I got the link down in the description box below if you want to follow along. Actually, I got it right here. There's a quote. Let me read the whole article just so you have context. Tony Khan has expressed loyalty to Warner Brothers Discovery, pledging to stay with them even if another entity offers slightly more money. After the ROH purchase, he only shopped it to Warner Brothers Discovery stations, expressing loyalty despite CW's past interest in ROH. It doesn't appear that Warner Brothers Discovery was interested in ROH programming. During his Rumor and Innuendo podcast, Nick Hausman said that he's heard that there are some within ROH who are a bit frustrated by the lack of television talks. It's easy to see why this is the case as well. And I quote from Nick Hausman, "There are a lot of people frustrated, at least in Ring of Honor, frustrated with how things are going right now. Obviously, we've heard of other frustrations backstage. Ring of Honor talents aren't the only one taking issue with Tony's management of ROH. Former ROH owner Kerry Silkin addressed his issues during an appearance on the Insiders podcast and made it clear he isn't happy with how Khan is running the company. And I quote, "It's still a lot today, but it doesn't have, even in the worst times of Ring of Honor, even in the worst times of Sinclair of Ring of Honor, there was kind of like, we're all in this together, kind of. It was a family. The fans are family. And I like Tony Khan, and he's a good guy, and he's got so much on his plate that I think the current Ring of Honor I can't come up with the right words. And maybe I'm sour grapes a little, but it's not gelled together properly." Yeah, because ROH, in the end of the day, it has something going for it, bruh. It had a certain type of spirit. It wasn't just put on the back burner because it was his own main company. And you know why it's in the shape that it's in right now? Because Tony Khan has way too much on his fucking plate. And that's my problem with a guy like Tony Khan, bro. It's not even so much to sit back and say, oh, he's trying to do everything and put his hand in the cookie jar. It's you're legitimately neglecting certain things, and your neglect for those certain things, your way of actually approaching and responding to the neglect of those certain things is being lazy, bruh, and using this mindset of believing that wrestling can curtail everything because it's wrestling fans, it's a wrestling product. Well, therefore, wrestling must be the thing that's going to cure all. That's dumb as fuck. Just to go back to what I was saying about music, imagine someone saying, oh, well, this person likes rock music, so well, the way to curtail all this, in order to give them their fix of rock music, I'll just give them any kind of music. Because they damn sure didn't come here specifically to hear rock music. They came to hear any kind of music because they're a music fan. That's not how people operate in the wrestling. And it's frustrating, bro, because again, you see things like this and you say to yourself, like, dude, everybody in the end of the day, not just the fans, not just you, Tony, in your pocketbooks, but the fucking wrestlers themselves. Everybody suffers from your decisions and your Mark way of thinking. And it's not as if I'm putting something on him that hasn't been talked about before. He himself has came out plenty of times. Even his wrestlers, Chris Jericho just said it a couple of days ago. They ain't worried about people's critiques outside of the fucking wrestling business or outside of people who like ROH or outside of people who like AEW. They're focused on the people who like what they're currently doing right now. How the fuck you grow like that, bruh? That's literally how echo chambers are created. You're just preaching to the fucking choir, bruh. There's a reason why, not to get too political here, but there's a reason why, even as a conservative, I would easily go listen to a guy like Destiny, sit there for hours and soak all that shit in before I go listen to someone like a fucking Matt Walsh, for an example. because I'm not trying to be stuck in an echo chamber. I got to hear everybody else's argument to see, does it actually match my values? What is being said from the other side of the argument, so I know how to argue against that? Because otherwise, if I'm sitting in an echo chamber and people are just feeding me information that I want to hear, then A, I'm missing context and I'm missing a huge part of what can help me grow as a human being. And B, I don't know how to fucking argue against that person at the end of the day, because I just put cotton balls in my ears to what the fuck they saying. How do you sit back and say to yourself that you want your wrestling promotion to grow, but the only way you're willing to take any kind of criticisms is if it's criticisms coming from people who already give you all the fucking... The criticisms are coming from the echo chamber. Like, if you're doing if Tony Khan is presenting you something, he's saying, oh, well, here, like this, like this, like this, like this, and you just numb that shit all day, and then he gives you something slightly different from a WWE perspective, for an example, then it's, I hate it because it's from a WWE perspective. It's not even a fucking Tony Khan thing anymore. It's, I hate it from a WWE perspective. Like I said, throughout the whole past week, now talk about the tribalism bullshit. It's that the WWE fanboys also. It doesn't matter if it's WWE or AEW as far as what's doing good or what's doing bad. All that matters is the initials on the brand. And it gets fucking annoying, bruh. Everybody suffers for this shit. And it's funny that I even bring us on like the Salamonster for an example, because I actually checked out his stream last night. And it's funny, just to kind of go back a little tiny bit, when I touched on that whole pro wrestling analogy that I used earlier about him, well, it wasn't really an analogy, but you get what the fuck I mean. Shut the fuck up for a minute. I'm making a point here. This motherfucker, and this is the kind of mentality that Tony Khan plays into, bruh. He plays into this fucking mentality, and he uses this kind of mentality to keep forcing the bullshit, the lazy bullshit that he's forcing currently right now for everybody to fucking consume, so he doesn't have to put any kind of forethought or actually go out of his way to actually try harder to work on. Salamonster says something, and I'm speaking verbatim here, but correct me if you guys are Salamonster fans. He said something last night that had me irked. He said, there are two kinds of people. You either liked what happened last night. This show was the best show of all time to you if you like the Continental Classic, if you like the professional wrestling, right? Or this is one of the worst shows you've ever seen, or you hate this show because all it did was focus on wrestling. It didn't promote any story. It didn't talk about any story. He said something along the lines of that. Again, I'm not speaking verbatim here. He said something along the lines of that, right? And that's bullshit. Why the fuck do we have to we have to pick or choose whether we have to have the wrestling or have to have the story? If for anything else, it should be the wrestling that has to be picked or choose. That's the bullshit part about all of it. The story and the characters should always be an automatic. What the fuck are we even talking about here? We have to prolong, we shouldn't have to focus on the story. We should focus on the Continental Classic because the stories are happening in the ring. That's what everybody's gravitating. No, man, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of these motherfuckers coming to us trying to tell us that this is the correct mentality to fucking have, bruh. It's fucking annoying, man. It's annoying. It's annoying also because you know what fucking pisses me off the most? Fuck the fact that I went through this and I know what good professional wrestling happens to be. I'm pushing towards my mid-30s right now. I grew up in the Attitude Era. I grew up in the Ruthless Aggression Era. I wasn't too much younger than what the Salamonster is right now while I went through my professional wrestling, all right? My thing is, though, my brother, we went through this shit. We know what's good. We know what's bad. We can't just go up the ladder and then pull the ladder up from underneath everybody else who wants to see what the fuck good professional wrestling happens to be. Because that's what you're doing metaphorically, in my opinion, is that you go up the ladder and you get the experience of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rocks, the Bret Harts, the Shawn Michaels, the Hulk Hogans, the Triple H's, the Brock Lesnar's, the Eddie Guerrero's, the Benoit's, the Jericho's, and his prime. You get to experience all that, the Goldbergs, the NWOs, the Four Horsemen, the Stings of the world. But we pull the ladder up from underneath us or from underneath everybody else, and now they have to experience the bullshit that's currently going on at the moment. Nah, I'm not with that, bruh. I want wrestling fans to understand. That's why when I see a dumb motherfucker come and tell me, well, the Attitude Era has passed you by. Nah, you're coping. You're coping because you hate the fact that I talk about this certain things all the fucking time, and you can't put your own 2 cents in this because you haven't experienced it. But I pity you, bruh. I pity you. Honestly, I pity you. I sympathize with you because I want you to experience, I want everybody to experience good wrestling. And wrestling in itself ain't about the in-ring stuff. All right, that's nothing more. In some cases, it's a euphemism to get around the fact that professional wrestling isn't doing its due diligence when it comes to everything else that comes to the... Because here's the thing. Pro wrestling, as much as everybody wants to say, well, Vince McMahon treats it like a SNL, it is. It's a variety show, bruh. It's for everybody. The stories, the characters, everything that you see on the programming is for everybody. The conclusion is what happens in the ring. But the climax is what happens in the ring. The beginning, middle, the end. Everything that course corrects itself and actually continues everything gone from an actual thematic standpoint happens in the ring. But of course, the end ring is all that matters. See, that's what kills me about all this also when it comes to a Tony Khan, but he wants to get upset when Pete goes on Twitter and he bitches and moans about boss and shit. Nah, nigga, they're real. They're real. Face facts. You suck at what the fuck you do, and you know why? Let me ask you guys a question. If you were running a business, say hypothetically you were running a wrestling business, and you had the opportunity to be influenced by about the things that preceded you, about the things. Now, I would assume. I'm just gonna be hypothetical about this, okay? What would you guys like to use as a business model as far as showing a template, as far as how you should conduct yourself and go throughout the business? Let's just say hypothetically you're going to use 3 of the biggest wrestling companies during the Monday Night War, during the most profitable time in the business. WWE, at the time WWF, WCW, or ECW. I would think, call me crazy, you will pick the fucking winner, right? The people who absorbed WCW and ECW. That being WWE, right? Tell me why. Only Tony Khan would think like this. You not only would be influenced by WCW by taking their entire presentation, remodeling it, and then calling it AEW, but your biggest influence was the outside fucking person looking at what the fuck was going on in the inside in ECW. You took everything that ECW has done, became a mark for what they did, because I heard that him and his father used to go to those ECW arenas and watch what the fuck they were doing live. You took everything that they did and used as a manner to want to fucking get over your new fucking promotion? That's what you do. You take the minimalistic viewership number, the minimalistic audience. I mean, literally, they were nothing more. ECW became nothing more than a breeding ground for the most part. You take that and you use that as a business model to conduct yourself going forward? Is that how you people fucking operate? That's how you people operate? Let me ask you a question. I went right back, and shout out to you, Sean, for bringing this up. Well, actually, I brought it up, but thank you for confirming it, Sean. The Rock, I brought up not too long ago, did 10 million viewers, right? 10 to 12 million viewers. Sean corrected me, and he said it was actually 10 million. Okay, 10 million viewers. What is Collision doing now? You know what? Fuck it. Let's say Dynamite. What is Dynamite doing nowadays? You can't even say a million. They fuck 10%. They can barely get 8% of what the fuck The Rock did by himself. But you think to yourself the correct business model is to go against all the people who are legitimately tuning out professional wrestling because you're focusing on things that lost the Monday Night War. It's so fucking frustrating, bruh. It's frustrating. It's even more frustrating that I have to sit back and listen to these fucking marks, these fucking loser-ass fanboys. The majority of them, for the most part, want to either be the tribalists in the AEW camp, or they're young-ass fans who cope super fucking hard because they were never able to live the experience of what most wrestling fans talk about when looking at professional wrestling from a positive light. Have to listen to these assholes cope all fucking day about the shitty-ass goddamn organization. People playing fucking football teams for a professional wrestling company. You get the fucking mark-ass boss who plays into this bullshit too. Like I said earlier with Chris Jericho a couple of days ago, pretty much confirming what I'm seeing right now. Fuck all the wrestling fans who want to criticize us. We need to focus on this group right here. And then you wonder why your fucking company has literally dropped nearly half of its audience since its fucking debut and been consistent in that position since then. Then you wonder why all your ROH wrestlers fucking hate you, because all you fucking do is present them in a wrestling light and no one sees them outside of what the fuck they currently do, which is a goddamn occupation. This isn't something that you're doing within, like, being famous or a celebrity. You know, it's now considered officially a fucking occupation. But you want to fucking, and not just an occupation, it's an occupation that they're putting their lives at risk. Because of course, God forbid, having people being characters and cutting promos actually kind of lowers that threshold as far as being injured all the fucking time. You fucking mark. But of course, let's go run to Twitter. Let's go run to our hive mind. Let's go run to our little echo chamber. And let's bounce some thoughts back and forth off of our idiot ass fans who don't give a shit about us. And they hate WWE more than they love AEW. But of course, you're going to sit here and fucking pretend like we actually give a goddamn what the fuck this mark is saying. It's nonsense, bro. It's nonsense. This is why I hate Tony Khan, bro. He's easily influenced. Whether it's by ECW, whether it's by WCW, whether it's by his mark-ass wrestlers, or whether it's by his mark-ass fans. He can never stand on his own. He can never look at what's actually being shown in front of his face, take what is actually being seen, and say to himself, damn, maybe I should actually go down that path. There's a lot of fans right now who aren't here, who are right there ready for the picking. Even if I can't get all of them, if I can even get 10% of that audience back, I can at least be on par with a SmackDown. Think about that for a second. If AEW Dynamite got at least 10% of that disillusioned fan base that left professional wrestling all but 25 years ago, if he got even 10% of that, he'll be on par with SmackDown. But instead, nah, I got my mark way as far as how I want to think about the professional wrestling business. I know what needs to be done. Keep failing. They're gonna love me regardless. Who cares? And then you sit back and you wonder why everybody hates your fucking guts. Oh man, you're taking wrestling too fucking seriously, Devontae. Oh, Devontae, you don't understand. Professional wrestling isn't that. Maybe not to you. And kudos to you. That's awesome. That's great. I can say the same thing about people who do heroin. I can say the same thing about cucks who cuck for their fucking girlfriends who hate everything about them. I can say the same thing about you motherfuckers who sit there, you go into your little reality television debates. I can talk about you same motherfuckers who talk about football like it's the end of the goddamn world. But of course, when it's professional wrestling, because it's not within your purview, of course, at that point, it's you're taking it too fucking seriously. Double standards, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Damn right I feel this way about professional wrestling, and I'm going to continue being this way about professional wrestling, because it seems like the only person that I hear who's passionate about professional wrestling nowadays is me, the only person who's fucking talking about it at the moment. But of course, I'm grandstanding right now, right? Talk about it amongst each other in the comment section below, man. My head hurts thinking about this shit. Let me go jump on 2K19 for the 6th year in the fucking row, because apparently 2K24, it's about as far away from my eyes right now. I can literally touch it right now, where I can literally see it on the horizon. Oh wait, no, that's me cosplaying as Ray Charles. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you dumb motherfuckers later. Deuces, P. Ice.